All right, here in front of me I have some essential equipment that I recommend anybody who gets into using their iPhones for weddings, events, or content. Let me break down what I have here. So first, I recommend anybody who gets into videography using their phone a gimbal, a phone gimbal. And this is relatively cheap. This is around $50–$60. This is a great beginning phone gimbal. You can take this off. You can have your phone with you once you're not using it. You can go handheld, super easy. And this one is good for like 7-ish hours. Now, the next thing you want to do is you need an ND filter on your phone. And what is an ND filter? And what do I have in my hand right now? Well, this allows you to use an ND filter with a threaded thingy. So you can put this on, and now this is on my phone, and this is an iPhone 17 Pro Max. So now you can put any 58mm filter on this. So it can be UV filter, it can be creative filters, it can be UV filter, it can be an ND filter. ND filter is basically sunglasses for your phone. And why do you need an ND filter? Well, when you're shooting outdoors, I always recommend wherever you're shooting, outdoors, indoors, you want to shoot manual mode. And what is manual mode? Well, manual mode is basically shooting in a way that gives you natural motion blur. If you're shooting for socials, 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second, and then you want to double that to get the ideal shutter speed. So if it's 30 frames per second times 2, 60, 1/60, or if it's 60 frames per second, then 1/120. And when you start with these, so you cannot change the iris or the aperture on these. So what you can do is you use this to lower the exposition when you're outdoors, whenever you need it, because you also need to use as little ISO as possible. Well, you might ask me, Danny, how can I get those parameters? Well, later on in this video, I'm going to talk about apps where you can actually change those things. But let's keep talking about these equipment. So ND filter and the gimbal. Okay, what's next? I have this mounting solution. This mounting solution, again, is super easy. It's magnetic. You can have it vertical, horizontal. You can mount it on a tripod. You can hold it, whoopsie. You can hold it with your hand. Hold it with your hand and shoot with it. But mostly I use it for my desk, for tripods and things like that. And it's easily detachable. So once you have this, I also recommend a form of wireless audio recorders. This is what I always use. I tell everybody, use Rode Wireless Pros, but they can be bulky, and these are more optimized for like camera use, but they record internally. So technically, you can just record this internally, mic up the person, or just use this in front of the mouth, and then you sync that up in post-production with the phone. That way you can actually save the weight on the gimbal. So again, I will link a couple of really good options when it comes to using phones specifically and wireless microphones specifically for phones. Okay, so we talked about a gimbal, we talked about ND filter, we talked about microphones and this mounting solution. Well, if you wanna get the most out of your phone, I recommend that you think about this as a camera. And you're like, what are you talking about? Well, if you are using this as a phone, you're gonna get phony looking stuff. But if you learn how to use this as a camera, you learn the best settings, you use the right equipment, then you can actually get really cool results. Now let's talk about a couple of important apps that I recommend. So Blackmagic has everything that you need, and it's free. You can change the lens, FPS, shutter speed, ISO, white balance. You can add LUTs. And what are LUTs? Lookup table. It's basically you can convert like a log, like a flat profile to a Rec 709 and yada yada. You can change resolution. So with the new iPhone, you can record 4K, HD, open gate, and 720. Open gate? What the heck is open gate? Well, open gate is 4:3, and it's a way bigger aspect ratio, which also requires an external SSD to record onto. And to get the best out of your iPhone, you're gonna want to record in Apple Log 2, which is Apple's like log looking profile that you have to convert, and ProRes 422 codec. And these things you want to record onto an external SSD. And you can get those small SSDs that you can plug onto your iPhone, and basically using that and using an ND filter on a gimbal, you get pretty much everything that you need. And if you record good quality audio that records internally that you can sync later on your phone, then you're honestly good to go. But you can also get these dongles that you can put on your phone as a like a mounting solution. So technically you could have these on, that dongle that goes here, and then a gimbal. But I recommend a more expensive gimbal that can handle a bigger payload, because this one will not handle a big payload that will have all these extra stuff in there. But I do recommend some form of a gimbal to make sure you have smooth shots. All right, so yeah, so these are the things that I am recommending. Now, should you use it? Well, that's up to you, honestly. When I shoot weddings, events, I always use my Sony camera because it shoots onto 2 SD cards at the same time, and I know that I can rely on those cameras. Those are workhorses. They won't die on me. I know how to use it from the back of my head, and I've never had, knock on wood, a problem. This is not even wood, so I need a wood to knock on. But iPhones also have a tendency sometimes to overheat, turn off, and then you lost your footage and things like that. So should you use this? Well, I'll say if there's a videographer, photographer, and you are a content creator, absolutely you can, because mostly the videography will take care of the most important parts, and it should have all the important parts in backups and things like that. So iPhone, once you have all these, so if I use 3 cameras, 4 cameras, I can use this and not worry that if this dies, it's the end of the world, because I don't have anything else. So this could be a great like C or D or E camera, or something that just captures fast content. But to rely on this as your sole equipment, I'd be cautious. That's the only thing I say. I'd be cautious. Also, you have to think about charging, because with cameras, like when I'm shooting on, I can just interchange the battery or plug in an external battery that I do all the time, and I can keep on shooting. With this, if it dies or if somebody calls or something happens, then that can hinder the process. And again, it's the reliability. If that's what I'm relying on and something like this happens, then you know. But I think it's time to look at some footages. So let's hop on to check out footages right here. All right, so let's put this phone onto this gimbal. So I don't have this turned on. Here is an arrow, and that arrow is supposed to be going or pointing towards the camera. So let's turn this on. I'm gonna try to...
A few moments later.
Okay, yeah, this is good. We about found the balance here. Now I can turn it on. Okay, wonderful. So okay, and this works with pretty much any camera app. I can use the regular camera app or the DJI's camera app. Let's go to the DJI's camera app. DJI Mimo. Okay, I'm gonna try to record the screen over here. Okay. Is this recording? Okay, it's recording. Beautiful. Okay, so here we are. You see that and my towel. Sorry. And I can switch this around and it already picked me up, so it's awesome. It tracks me and I can X that out. Oh, come on. I can change this and I can use this over here to zoom in and zoom out, which is kind of neat. As you can see, I also have 4K 60 there. 4K 60. Now let's see if we can change exposure control. Okay, so we can go to manual. Wonderful. So you always want to have manual. That's why I'd recommend this. So 60, 1/60. So for 60 frames per second, you actually want 1/120. Then ISO as low as possible. And I have auto white balance. You should probably learn how to do manual white balance video for another day. Okay, so now we're in manual mode and it's super easy. So I have this on a certain setting. Okay, PF. FPV. Okay, we don't want a spin shot. Okay, wonderful. And then you can switch cameras with this button over here, and that's pretty much it. It's super easy. And let's see if we can actually put the ND filter on and balance it. So remember, this will add more weight to it. So we're gonna have to jiggle around with this. So let's see. Okay.
12 seconds later.
This is why I tell you that the more weight you put on the gimbal, on the phone, you will need a bit more professional gimbal for this. See, it's kind of having a hard time because this thing is heavy. But to get these shots, you need an ND filter. Now you can get the ND filter that's specifically made for iPhone, and that will help you. Let's see how that helps. So let's see. Okay. And we are recording the screen, and screen is recorded. Okay. So as you can tell, it's not completely perfect, but you can change this to be dark, not dark. So when you're outside, this helps a lot. Okay, so this is the gimbal aspect. So I recommend that when you're getting into it, find an ND filter for your phone. Find something that's the least weight adding to the phone. And then you can try this gimbal because it's cheap. It's an easy way to get into phone gimbal usages, and it's super easy to set up, and it's very lightweight on your arm and your hand, so you can use it all day around without any sort of problems. So yeah, so in this video we talked about phone accessories, phone apps that you can use to better your phone videography. So get to practicing, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.